And good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to July 25th edition. It's Friday, July 25th. Last Friday of July. July just kind of flew by. Was that just me? It's already trashy outside. I think it's like 79 degrees or something. It is a chance of rain. It is going to be, well, we'll see how it is today. Welcome, Makers Movers Podcast. Today, we're wrapping up what we've talked about the last 5 days. Where you're pretty much, your brand isn't your logo. And these are 5 things that we learned over the last 5 days that, we're going to change the way that we show up. Because when we think about it, most small business owners think that the brand is just a logo, some colors, maybe a cute tagline, but nope. A real brand connects, attracts, and sticks. So as we use this recap episode, we're going to break down the 5 steps to building a powerful brand based on this series from Caleb Ralston. And this is going to help you get that crystal clear vision on what makes your brand one of a kind. And so today, we'll cover why clarity of outcome is your first branding move. How to niche down without boxing yourself in. 3-part brand story that builds trust and connection. What really sets you apart from the crowd, and why being authentically human beats perfection every single time. And we're going to want you to take one of these and work on it over the next week and just see what happens. So really looking forward to that. Down in the links, you should find links for DTF Transfers. You should find links to our July book pick from Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. And overall, what else is down there? I think there's links in there for GP Plus and Creative Fabrica. So check out those affiliate links on that. And make sure to like and subscribe. Now, on everything else, I need to know who you are, where you're from, what's in your cup, and what's the weather like in your area, along with 5 things. What are 5 things that you are going to accomplish today? So it's supposed to be like mid 80s, chances of storms. Blah, we'll see how it is. I'm switching up. Ghost orange creamsicle, orange cream. It is not too shabby. Not too shabby. 10 calories. I'll take it. I'll see how it is for it. Our 5 things. We've got a lot of meetings this afternoon because, I know I can't speak on this yet. Hopefully Monday, Wednesday for sure, I should be able to. We're banging out details today on stuff. Monday, possibly, we'll be able to talk more about it. I know, keeping you in suspense, but I guarantee some of you are going to freak out at what's going on. Believe me, I'm freaking out, and I've thrown up and not eaten and laughed and cried through the emotional roller coaster of what we're doing, and it is wild to say the least. But we've got a bunch of calls this afternoon. I just got approvals back on some artwork, so we're going to get those stores ready to go. So we got calls, we got stores, we got invoicing, and then a lot of it's just working on business. So that's what we got today on this Friday, July 25th. Love to hear what you have. So let's check in and see how people are doing. Uh, Barb, good morning to you. North Central Minnesota, 68, foggy sunshine. Water in the cup, 5 things. Quotes, 3D printing, sewing alterations, cut sign vinyl, cleanup, craft cutting room. Very nice. What's up, Chuck? Good morning to you. Hey, Barb and Chuck from Linda. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning to you. Linda, good morning. 80 and cloudy there in Central Texas. Iced tea in the cup, 5 things. 3D print, edit photos, sort orders to do. Very, very nice. And Chuck's got currently 80 with a high 94. Feels like 102 with a 49% chance of rain. Oh, that does not. That's a little. That's a little much for me. It is a little much for me. But we'll be down in Florida next week. We're flying down Wednesday night. I think Wednesday night is when we're flying down. I got to get all the details of it. And then be down there for weeks. So there won't be a show next Friday, the following Monday or Wednesday, and everything, makes sense coming soon. But we've got things we got to work on it and stuff. It's just, there's just a lot going on with it. So, let's see, where was that? And then Barb says, "Hi, Kendra, Chuck, and Tanya." So there's that. I think that's supposed to be Linda, but we can call her Kinda. I like that. Let's call her Kinda from now on. She should be fine with that. I'm sure she will. And remember, like, subscribe, share. Go hit those buttons, do that stuff, because if not, well, it's just the way this grows. Like I said, there's a chance that this will be moving locations or bringing on a sponsor. That's part of next week's stuff that we're finding out which way it's going to go, and we'll keep you up to date on all that stuff happens. But today, let's get into it, shall we? Let's be honest. Most small businesses don't have a brand. They got a logo, a favorite font, maybe some matching colors, but that's not a brand. A brand is clarity, it's identity, it's connection. And so in this recap, we're going to bring together everything that we've learned from the past 5 episodes based on Caleb Ralston's series. So, you can build a brand that actually works, not just one that looks cute. All right. So, number one is we want to define our outcome. You can't build a brand if you don't know what you're building it for. Is your goal to grow your YouTube channel, to launch spiritware stores, to get consistent B2B orders? Without a clear outcome, every post, every promo, and every design just feels random for it. So examples of this is if you're trying to grow your online store, your branding needs to emphasize ease, like fast turnaround time, hassle-free setup, designs that stand out. If your goal is to build a community or launch a course, your brand should feel personal and feel trustworthy and not over polished and salesy. So for this one, write down your number one business goal for the next 90 days. In every piece of content, your brand should support that. So every piece of your content, your brand should support that goal over the next 90 days. Number two is going to be, identifying your niche, because trying to reach everyone means you'll end up reaching no one. Your niche is not just who you serve, it's how you solve their problem better than anyone else. When you look at it, do you want to be that person that they call, or just that they see on the billboard that most people don't pay attention to? When you find your people, it makes making business a hell of a lot easier. So some examples of this is, I help PTO moms get custom shirts delivered fast with no setup, no fees, no stress. All right. Like for us, we create DTF transfers for side hustlers who want to grow without investing in costly equipment. So here's the thing. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come put it in the comments so that way that you have it and copy it, use it, go what needs to it. I help blank do blank without blank. So I help who do what without that frustrating thing. I'm going to copy that, put it in here, and then we're going to keep checking in. We're going to check in and see where we're at with it. So we'll put that in here. So you have it, you can see it. We will show it up on the screen. There it is. I help who do what without that frustrating thing. Uh, let's see, where were we with it? There's that. Maybe Chuck. Maybe we're coming down for a cruise. Maybe we're coming down for a cruise. We'll be down there for a bit. Uh, Tim, good morning to you. Morning, tinting away in here. This AC just not working out here. Oh, Tim, you've been running into that a lot, haven't you? Oh, look at that. Brian's checking in. Brian, how is your work conference going? Don't sell ink on shirts, sell the experience you are working with. Love it. Oh, Brian, do you have time to chat today or no? Because I seen something posted and I want to get your thoughts on it. If you print Hustler Group, you probably know what I'm talking about. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because I was like, how the mighty have fallen, huh? That's what I thought. Sean, good morning to you from North Dallas. Hot there. Coffee in the cup. Resolve any issue with my laser skewing a file that was sent. Oh, that sucks. I got a great laser story. Work on my affiliations and getting content ready for posting. Well, maybe we can work together on something here in the future. Just like that, any of our content creators, if we're any of our friends that are here in this and you're content creators, you're in the maker space, you're doing some stuff, give me about, a couple weeks and let's see if we can maybe work out some deals on some stuff to get some things in each other's hands. I had a laser issue. It kept skewing the logo, like really making it small, and I could not figure it out. Did it multiple times when in there, went in there, and like, what is going on? It was on a mug. I only ruined one mug because I was testing it the first time using this particular one, this size and style. So I'm like, okay, do it, and it just I could not figure it out. So after multiple tries, and maybe I'm thinking files coming in, so let's rebuild the file. La 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 la. Yeah. So come to find out, this smart guy was using diameter instead of circumference. Kind of changes things on it. Once I did that, magically the file worked great. So yeah, it made me laugh because I'm like, oh, okay, something just so not even paying attention, clicking the wrong thing. I should have just went back and checked step by step, but it was good. It made me laugh. Brian says, "Good morning. 85 headed to 100 thunderstorms this afternoon." Yeah. Oh, you're driving all afternoon starting about 1. Okay, that works. I think I've got an accounting call at 1. I've got some kind of call at 1, so maybe when that's done, I'll give you a call because then I've got something else at like 3. So, yeah. Otherwise, you know how it goes when we're driving. We can just be on the phone for hours because, hey, why not? Uh, it's a huge sign for business. It cuts perfectly on my test, and boom, it's wrong. I've sent in a ticket. Oh, that is no fun. No fun at all when things like that happen. All right, back to it. Tip 3. A strong story brand has 3 parts. The catalyst. What made you start? The core truth, what you believe, and the proof, how you back it up. So, what does that mean? Well, you tell us what made you start it all. For us, we've talked the story. The first time it was with us making decals for our cars, for our race cars, because we're broke and it was just made there, and it grew from there. And then life happened and things went away, and we had somebody make a shirt for Hattie's first birthday, and they screwed it up. And I said I totally have everything to do it, and went pulled it out and made it, and that restarted it. So she's 11, so that restarted it 10 years ago. The core truth. What do you believe? And especially when you're looking at your niche, what do you believe about that? And then the proof. How you back that up. So examples of this is the catalyst. Our fundraiser failed because no one supported our team. The core truth is every sport deserves equal attention. And the proof, now I run stores with guaranteed profit and easy ordering. Pretty simple, right? Another example is Catalyst is I couldn't get full color shirts without wasting money. The core truth, small shops should be able to say yes to any jobs. Proof, we ship gang sheets in 2 business days or less. Hey, that's us. And we're working on getting into a network so it can even be faster. So anywhere in the country is what we're working on. You order and you have stuff within 2 days. So that's the goal. So for this one, write your 3-part story. Use that in your about section, intro videos, emails, everywhere you can do it. Okay. Number 4 is going to be, what makes you different? Your positioning, is the gap you fill. Your positioning is the gap you fill in the market, right? What do you do that no one else is highlighting? What do you do that's better? What do you do that's different? Your position in that. Maybe you specialize in forgotten teams, debate clubs, chess club, um, bass fishing. I'm trying to think, is there bowling? Some of the ones cross country, some of the ones where they don't get the big ones. While everybody else is out there chasing football and basketball and baseball and softball, great to have, but there's plenty of opportunities out there for it. You know, um, you make ordering process, grandma proof with zero setup fees, quick designs, and stores ready in under a week. I know some places that a turnaround time was 2 to 3 weeks for them to do a store. that can be really pressing like that when, tight turnaround times. Sometimes seasons are really short, so you want to have to, if that's your turnaround time, you got to start earlier. Realistically, on a simple store, we can have a store up in a matter of a couple of hours. So, you know, um, really get in there and see what sets yourself apart and makes you different from everybody. So, the way you can find this out is just ask some customers. Ask your customers why they chose you over someone else, and then use those answers in your marketing. All right. Before we move on to 5, do we have any other things on here? Ooh, yeah, we can be in touch. 15 before new affiliates. Ooh, we got some stuff on there. And then I gotta see how it all plays because I gotta make sure that everybody can play in the same sandbox because sometimes people get pissy when there's other people in their sandbox and it shouldn't matter. And it's wild. It's wild out there. I will tell you that. Tim, makes you feel human when you make that simple mistake. Absolutely. And that's the thing is I get so tired of these influencers in our space that everything's always perfect for them. They only talk about every great job, how perfect it is, how much money they made on it, how they scaled, what it is, and then sign up for my course and do that. They never talk about the real part of the business. They never talk about the fails. They never talk about the power surges that take out equipment, the rain that comes through the roof, the sick employees that don't show up, the sick you that has to go into work, the machines not working, the files not working. They never talk about that. The mess and the hassle of the daily struggle. Everything looks perfect, and they have this unattainability, yeah, for us, where that's what we think we need to be, and it's 100% false. We all have issues. Things happen every day. And the more real and honest you can be, the better you are. We've had stuff where it just didn't work out. Celebrate the losses. Show that you're human. Show that you're here, that you aren't some, perfect machine because you're not. We're humans. We make mistakes. Be there for it. And John, oh my God, right? There's always issues. I think showing the peeps issues so they know that they need to bring patience. Absolutely. We run into that a lot with DTF where they're just not doing the right artwork and they're not realizing, that there's hidden pixels in there. And that's why white's showing up. And then when we can throw it on a different color background and they can see a shadow behind there, then they're like, oh, so can you take that off? I'm like, no, you got to fix it in your artwork because if we reprint, here's what it is for it. And the problem is, other companies may fix that for free and they may spend hours doing it and they've lost money on it. And then they wonder, hey, why aren't we making any money? Seems like we're always busy. It's because you're doing all your customers' work for you. And, we've lost customers over that. We're like, yeah, we can do it. It's $75 an hour. And magically, no, they'll do it themselves. So, we try and get rid of that for it, which all this leads into is, being authentically human. you know Logos don't sell, people do. The more you show the human side of your business, the more people connect, the more they trust you, the more, what is it, like, no, trust. They like you, they know you, they trust you. And so the more you can do that, then you're going to get better clients too. They're going to know that you're human. They're not expecting to work with a big corporate brand. They're working with you because they like you, they know you, they trust you for it. And that's why we've talked about, showing your process, showing your chaos, showing that it can be messy, that it can be stuff. I took a picture of, and I have yet to post it. I think it posts today that goes out with it. Maybe I did. I thought I posted it. Yeah, is we had to cut reflective HTV. So, of course, I'd take a picture and, so we'll use that to show it off. We'll put that in there because, it was just the weeding process of it. There's nothing better than weeding, flags for shoulders, for sleeves. Yeah, in HTV. But, that's what we'll do. We're showing that we're doing that process for it. We're not overthinking, what to say. We're just being real. Like something like, we know teen moms are exhausted. That's why we're here to make this part easier for it. We had a talk with somebody in a cheer program yesterday, and they said that, we're talking about the Pink Out store, and they're like, we're trying to make sure this is all in one place because didn't we have some issues last year? It's like, I thought we ran everything pretty good last year. I said, I think there was a couple people that didn't pick up their orders, and we had to do that. She goes, yeah, there was another organization in the school that was doing a Pink Out, and there was there was so much chaos with it. And they're like, yours showed up and it's individually bagged and it has their names on it and everything is alphabetized. So we just had to pull orders and it was such a smooth process. She goes, and we know that we could have got it cheaper, but we didn't get the service like that. They just, here's everything and we had to do it all for it. When your stuff is bagged and tagged and ready to go for us, it makes our job easier and it's worth it. And we still made great money. It's because it's what we do. Why? We're parents. We were the volunteers. We were there and we've done that. So we know that it can be a process. And if we can make that process easier, absolutely 100% we'll do it. So action step for this is, this week, post something real, a fail, a moment, a behind the scenes peek. Your people will feel it and they'll know it and they'll understand it. So as we wrap all this up, your brand is what they remember. Branding isn't your logo. It's what people remember about you when they need what you sell. All right. So know what you're building. Choose your niche in your own lane. Tell your story, messy moments and all. Make your differences obvious and be a real human, not a highlight reel. And this doesn't matter whether you're launching your first store, you're pivoting your whole business. These steps are going to make your brand feel like not a copy of somebody else. So that's what we got today. Let's check in. We'll see, what are we doing? What do we got going on? And Tim says, makes you feel human. Yep, makes simple mistakes. Yeah. Right. There's always that. That's where I was with it. So that's what we got. We'll wrap this up. We do have our mentorship call that is starting in a half hour at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. There should be links if you're interested in joining for that, which that is going to be changing up stuff possibly soon next month too, because there's just a lot. There's like, it's like a gear, there's all these things that need to fit together so it seamlessly goes like this. Otherwise, it's going to end up like that. And so we're just trying to make things we're trying to make things a little more consistent with it. We'll be back Monday. I'm not 100% sure on Monday's topic because now the week changed on what's going on with it. But there's a couple things that I know we can talk about. I got the weekend to figure it out, and then we can go for there. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe, comment, share, use the affiliate links, do all that. Help us out there because, hey, sharing's caring and helps keep the lights and mics on. And using affiliate links costs you nothing. It helps, everybody involved. So until Monday, you guys have an amazing weekend. Peace, love, press on, and we will see you.